So it seems like we'll have to wait forever, but in fact it's only been 7 days. We now get The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 2, or Chapter 10, The Passenger. Now this episode seems to be tying up the loose ends from the episode The Prisoner Season 1, but I'll get to that later in the video. But it's also reminding Mando of who he is outside his quest from episode 1 The Marshal, which only focused on that and it didn't give us much side story or anything of the child, and this episode certainly makes up for that. Pick up exactly where we left off at the end of the last episode, episode 9 The Marshal, which is the Mando on the speeder in Tatooine. Now we're not going to get any sort of Boba Fett payoff that we all wanted. This show is a master of pacing and I knew we weren't going to get much from this episode based on the last episode's cliffhanger. It seems that some locals want to try and rip off Mando and threaten the baby. After a small fight, Mando has to hand over his jetpack in exchange for the child. We then watch the last guy stand and take off Boba Fett style and take a header straight into the ground. Now what's also really cool is as soon as this happened, Mando seems to be able to summon the jetpack back to him. We get a really great fight sequence in this episode, and as I mentioned in my last video, they're really stepping up everything in gear in this season, including the hand-to-hand fight sequences, and this is no different. After getting back to town, Mando agrees to take a job in order for information to find other Mandalorians and to take a passenger to another system under the condition that he doesn't use hyperspace. He's not very keen on doing this as he feels that speed is the main thing that's keeping him alive under the circumstances, rather than just be in literal open waters of space travelling from planet to planet or system to system. Whilst on the way to the new system, Mando and the ship get tracked down by New Republic X-Wings that identify the Razor Crest from the prisoner heist in Season 1, and Mando gets shot down on an icy planet. As I mentioned at the start of the video, we don't get any payoff of the Boba Fett ending at the end of the last episode. Basically what Mando has to do is try and repair the ship while fending off giant ice spiders. And another thing that this episode has is reproduction as a theme. It's a huge theme in this episode, and it was mentioned by Peli about how the baby reproduces in episode 1, but again I'll cover that in my main video in a few days time. Mando defeats the beast, and after being tracked down by the X-Wing pilots, he makes an agreement in order to go free. While this episode doesn't have a lot of the payoffs that we got in Chapter 9, it does serve as a great reminder of who Mando is, or at least who he was before he met the child and his quest began. But as I mentioned, this is just a quick reaction video. I will be covering this episode in more detail later on, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it, and if you like the video, leave a like as well. Also let me know what you think about this episode, if you've watched it 1 time, 4 times, 5 times, have you noticed any Easter eggs? I'll be doing a video about that later on in the week as well. I hope you have a great weekend and stay safe. Thanks for watching. Once again, I've been The Standard, and this has been The Geek in Review.